Shalom. First of all, let's start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Kadash. The belongingness of teachers, elders, and apostles of great most likewise brothers, put on this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and the brothers and sisters. Doing in Shalom. Today's lesson is titled, Through the Prophets, the Lord, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, gives warning, not the fountain faggots. Now, this lesson is going to revolve around this picture you see here, which this looks to be a Jake female holding up the sign Eve, which says, "This is the government our founders warned us about." So clearly she's functioning in the mindset of Great Babylon America, and she has accepted that the founding faggots of Great Babylon America, okay, are the ones that have spoken about this, and she's accepted that. Okay, but let's talk about how this warning came to us from Yahweh Shai Shai through the prophets. Let's go into the book of 2 Ezra 9 and start verse 1, and it reads, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made," which we see that's happening right now. "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning." And what we see going on in the world right now, we're seeing uproars of the people. Okay, disasters after disasters, plane crashes, okay, famine across the earth, civil war, civil unrest. These are things that are happening right now. So this warning came to us from the Lord Yahweh Shai through the prophets who put it into the book that the world know universally as the Bible. Okay, and we bring these scriptures out to everybody, on the highway and the byway and on this unicorn. Now let's take a look at this word government in the online etymology, and it reads, "System by which a thing is governed, especially a state, from Old French government, control, direction, administration." Okay, now let's skip over to where it says to steer, to be at the helm of, govern, rule, command, direct, from Latin governor, to direct, rule, guide, govern. Okay, originally to steer, to pilot. So basically someone that's in charge. When we go into the book of Daniel 4 and 17, it tells you who actually was set up to govern, to rule the world, to steer, things that's going on in this world. Okay, and it was set up by Yahweh Shai, but he has a specific set of people that he put in place to do this. It reads, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High, Yahweh Shai, ruleth in the kingdom of man, and giveth it to whomever he will, and set up over it the basis of man." Now, when we bring that out and we show and we know what the word basis means, someone that's really, abnormal, someone that's, really beneath everything, okay, which is the so-called white man. People throw their arms up in the air and they go, how could you say something like that? But they can accept the fact that the so-called white man is the supreme ruler on this earth. He is the most intelligent, the most sophisticated, the richest, the wealthiest. He has scientific achievements. Yet still they won't accept this scripture that says that the Lord will set up such a person, the basis of man, which is the so-called white man, which is Esau the Edomite. Okay, when we go into the book of Genesis, and you can see how Esau was blessed with this ability. Okay, this is Genesis 27 and start verse 39. It reads, "And Isaac his father answered and said unto him," this is when Esau went crying to Isaac, because he wanted a blessing, "Behold, thy dwelling should be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword," keep in mind that word sword, "shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke off thy neck." Okay, so here it is, Esau right now, through his greed and through the use of the sword, okay, which at this stage right now, he's He's, elevated up to cruise missiles and, space-based lasers and those things. He's been able to get what he wanted, which is his blessing. His blessing is the fatness of the earth. When you go into Jeremiah 49:9, you can see the kind of character, okay, that Esau is. It says, if grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaming grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. This man is insatiable. He cannot be satisfied. He has to have it all. And we are going to see this manifest into the MOTB very soon across this earth. But in the meantime, you can see the things that's taking place, okay? Because, Daniel 4:17 made it's indisputable proof, okay, that Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man who's very proud of his achievements, okay, of his successes, is the one that the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, has set up and who is currently in charge right now. And all of the characteristics of a greedy, self-serving, selfish, wicked ruler describes what Esau is. Okay, when we go into Ecclesiasticus 14 and verse 5, take a look at it. Here are these super wealthy people living it up. In the meantime, his own people are in a destitute state. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his good. So if the Edomites, okay, who are the subject to their king, okay, are having a hard time living right now to the point of where they're roaring about not having the ability to pay for food or put a roof over their head, they're living in tents, they're strung out on drugs, okay, yet still the people that look like them who are in rulership has done nothing about it because they're so busy, coming up with ways in it to go after the children of Israel, okay, who are the chosen people of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai. So we can see here a greedy ruler, okay, who's been set up by Yahweh Shem Shai, who rules with the sword, okay, threats, constant threat, okay, and we can see how this is manifesting across the earth. When you go into the book of Job 9:24, it says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Okay, so we know what they did with all of the prophets, how about Shem Shai, who were ignorantly called God and Jesus. They changed their images up there like that so that they can ensure that they can get the whole world to worship them. This is why you see a sign like this, okay, where you have people like this, okay, and she could be a Jake, I'm not sure, but she looks like Eve. It says, this is the government, I found this. So she's accepted, okay, Esau as a king, okay, warned us about. That's why they're out there in these cities, over the weekend in this No King March, because they're looking at it from a carnal perspective, okay, that what is going on right now is unconstitutional. We're looking at it, okay, as spiritual men, as this is exactly what Yahweh Shem Shai had given that vision, okay, to the prophets to put into the scriptures, and this is why we come out and we reveal it to those that would hear and forbear these words, okay. When we go into the book of Malachi 1 and start verse 4, okay, keep in mind that the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai gave Esau the blessing of the sword and the fatness of the earth. He gave him, okay, the ability to go and conquer, okay, and Esau, although he had fallen, okay, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai has allowed Esau to rebuild, which we see now the revival of the Roman Empire right now in the form of Great Babylon America. It says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and rebuild the desert places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shem Shai, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they should be called them the border of wickedness, and the people of whom, against whom the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai had indignation for forever. What Israel is doing over there is wickedness, okay, which we already know that they're going to draw in the United States into this conflict, okay, and we've seen those headlines going on right now, okay, so we're very close to world disaster, and the life that everybody gets up to every morning to is about to come to an end, okay, it's about to come to an end, and for many, okay, they will not make it through, okay, over the next few years. That's where this judgment is going to be taking place. But we can see here, okay, in the book of Malachi, the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai has allowed Esau to rise up again. Why? Because he is going to come back and humble this man in the sight of everybody on this earth. Now, concerning again the sign, okay, that this lesson is based around, okay, let's take a look. So we see for these people, they don't understand what's going on. We do. It's as clear as day. Okay? This is Isaiah 19 and Psalm verse 1. It says the burden of Egypt, which this place is known as spiritual Sodom in Egypt. Okay? Keep in mind that this month is also the month of what? The Sodomites. They celebrated 30 days. Okay, you have something called Juneteenth coming up on Thursday, I believe. Okay, you know, and just 40 after 40. Okay, it says the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord Yahweh shall ride upon his swift cloud and shall come into Egypt, and idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst thereof. And this is what you're seeing right now. These people are melting. These people right now are not feeling good about themselves, you know, because it's just not the way it was prior to 2020. Things are just not the same. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. You've seen that with the Democratic versus the Republicans. Okay, you've seen Trump coming out and saying today that they're going into those cities that are trying to protect who we call migrants. Okay, and they're going to get them. Okay, they're expanding their network, or they're expanding their ICE detentions and capturing of who they are calling criminals. It says, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom, which is happening across this earth. But more so, that's going to really be taking place here in Great Babylon, America. And it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the isles, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So they're going to be going to what they always go to. They're never going to turn to the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. Definitely not the Edomites, and neither are going to be the 2/3. That's why you see them participating in this nonsense, and they're uproaring. The only uproar that the righteous is making is we're complaining about the wickedness, okay, and unjust deeds of this wicked devil, and we're praying for the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai to take vengeance on this man. It says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemel Shai. So remember, okay, pursuant to Daniel 4:17, the Lord said he would do what? He would give the basis of man. Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, is the basis of man. This cruel Lord is the basis of man. We have this identified this cruel Lord as Donald J. Trump, who right now, okay, we believe he's going to be the one that's probably going to bring the MOTB, you know, to fruition. Okay, when you go into Revelation 6 and 4, let's give you another characteristic of this government. It says, and there went out another horse that was red, which Esau came out red. Okay, and power was given unto him that sat thereof to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So who was blessed with the sword? Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, was blessed with the sword. Okay, so he is the one that's taking peace from the earth. Who is going around conquering all the continents and the nations and making movies about it and documentary about it, and, you know, just really, you know, self-indulging in their ability to rule over this earth? The so-called white man. So you see, you can be proud, you know, and boast about all your achievements, but yet at the same time, you don't want the finger pointing at you that you are indeed the wicked. Yet still the proof is right here in the scriptures that you are the one that's been given the sword and the ability to go do the things that you're doing on this earth. We can go into the book of Revelation 13, okay, and starting with verse 15, you know, because when I made this little clip that you see playing in the background right now, okay, you can see all the things that is going to be associated with this. And when you look at it, that's what's going on right now. Conflict, you have, you know, there's going to be, you know, military draft. You're going to have all these things right now. It's about to take place while this is about to manifest. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And we see when they give demands across the earth, you know, like right now, for example, they're trying to tell Iran you can't have nuclear weapons. Okay, so we're going to keep bombing you until you come to the table and say, yeah, we're not going to do anything. Okay, this is how this man operates, like that, because you have to bow down to the will, okay, of the beast. You have to bow down to the will of the beast. You have to accept sodomy or homosexuality. Okay, you have to accept all form of wickedness in order to be able to be in this society. And it says, and he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and born, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, which we know is the MOTB, okay, mark of the beast. and that no man might buy or sell save he had that mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So they've already have these corporations that are set up, okay, that accept this digital system payment. They've caused all of the brick and mortar businesses to go out of business, and that's going to even really come more to light, in a very short period of time, especially as this war started to pick up. Okay, that you now have to depend on the system, but now what they want to bring out is a lot of confusion. Okay, and a situation in which the people are begging for that solution, and that solution is going to be the MOTB. And this is the reason why we tell Jason all the time, stop worshiping the so-called white man. Okay, to this woman that's on the screen here, this is the government our founders warned us about. No. And if she's an Eve, she needs to understand this. Let's close it with Psalms 22 and 23. It reads, ye that fear the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, praise him, all ye the seed of Jacob, is the 12th tribe of Israel. This is what we do. Glorify him and fear him, all ye the seed of Israel. That is supposed to be what we're supposed to be doing as Hebrew Israelites, not glorifying and showing fear to this doggone white man. And this is exactly what these people with this No Kings rally and all these jakes going on there, voting and begging for mercy from the wicked that's been set up by Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, they fearing him who's been allowed to do evil, okay, rather than him who gave the subject or Esau the ability to execute those things. All right, Lord willing, the elect was edified. Of course, by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.